Welcome. In this training module, we will investigate some essential customer service skills needed for working in cultural and heritage tourism. Always remember, the visitor is the reason you have your job. These are important concepts that you can keep in practice throughout your time as a frontline staff member. Customer service skills are invaluable once attained. In this module, we will be discussing customer expectations, important customer service skills, other important skills such as telephone etiquette, and lastly, dealing with difficult customers.
First, let's consider some customer expectations. What does a visitor to one of the museums, historic sites, or art galleries expect when they enter a site? Think about some recent interactions you've had as a customer, either at a regular store or at a heritage site. What did you enjoy or dislike about that interaction? Typically, a visitor to a cultural or heritage tourist site wants their visit to be an enjoyable experience, have good value, be interesting for both adults and children, be a relaxing environment, authentic and unique, and lastly, enriching and educational. While visitors at these sites typically have much in common, there are different types of visitors. Here are some simple categories: individuals, casual or special interest visitors or researchers, families, parents with young children, groups, typically mixed age and all share a common interest, visitors from different cultures or with different languages, visitors with accessibility concerns such as visual, hearing, learning, or physical, virtual users who experience the site through web resources. It's important to keep this in mind and always cater your service accordingly. Now that we know what a visitor to one of our member sites expects, let's brainstorm some essential customer service skills and compare them with the list we have prepared. Feel free to discuss this for as long as needed before proceeding. Here are some essential customer service skills: responsiveness, reliability, clear communication, problem solving, emotional connection, assertiveness, fairness, and access to services. Simply, treat the visitor the same way you would like to be treated. The next section of this module will focus on some other important skills you will likely use during your time as a frontline staff member. The topics covered, communication etiquette and handling money, are very important to the success of a museum or art gallery. If a visitor had a different experience every time they called a museum, or a site gained a reputation for being unable to safely operate their gift shop, it could seriously affect the success of a historic site. To avoid this, let's first look at some telephone etiquette. When making a phone call, identify yourself. State your name, who you're representing, and who you wish to speak to. Speak as if the person is there in the room. Smile and be expressive. Maintain consistency. If there is a set greeting you have been giving, use it every time you answer the phone, and maintain a consistent approach. All you have is your voice. Watch your tone and inflection. Speak clearly, confidently, and pleasantly. Think about the conversation and what you'll say before the call. Other than the phone, communication by email is now common and widespread. Because of this, let's quickly go over some helpful tips for email etiquette. When communicating by email in a professional setting, always remember, use professional salutations. Be polite as you're speaking on behalf of your organization. Be aware of using terminology and jargon that could confuse the recipient. Be careful that your tone is not misunderstood. Depending on what historic site, art gallery, or museum you may be working in, the system for payment may vary wildly. Some smaller organizations use a simple cash box, while others operate large gift shops with multiple cash registers. No matter the site, The concepts for safe and secure money handling are the same for any situation. Maintain courtesy. A money transaction can quickly become a frustrating process for a customer. Try to make it as easy as possible. Focus. Deal with one transaction at a time. Don't allow yourself to be interrupted or distracted. Recount money. Count the change to yourself when making it and again when you return it to the customer. Don't be confused by customer demands. Keep your composure and don't allow customers to hurry, upset, or mislead you. If you get confused, don't be afraid to start over. Be aware of counterfeit and theft. Check large bills and take extra care if the bill is crumpled, taped, or altered. Don't be afraid to ask for smaller bills, and do not leave large bills highly visible or accessible. Lastly, be comfortable with any sales processing equipment you may have to use. Depending on your position, you may not have to communicate on the telephone or handle money very often, or it may be one of your main responsibilities. Nevertheless, knowing how to properly conduct yourself in these situations is important when helping coworkers notice a risky or bad habit developing. The final section of this module will cover dealing with complaints and difficult customers. Firstly, don't take it personally. There may be many reasons why the customer is upset or difficult to deal with. They may be doing business out of necessity more than desire. They may be taking their kids or paying for a friend. They may be tired, rushed, or angry even before you began interacting with them. It's important to recognize the customer and treat them personally based on their mood. If you are faced with an unhappy visitor or a customer that is difficult to deal with, here are a few key things to remember. Never argue or try to pass blame to another employee. If something is wrong, take ownership of the problem and correct it. Don't hold a grudge and let the complaint affect future interactions. If a customer is becoming upset or hostile, turn it over to your supervisor at once. Remember, you have rights both as an employee and a human being. Know the line, and when a customer crosses the line, you are able to tell them. If you feel unsafe with a visitor, you should contact a supervisor or enact an existing safety plan for this scenario.
That was a lot of information. Let's quickly summarize some important messages from this training module. Treat visitors to the site the same way you would like to be treated, and always remember that they are people too. Ideally, difficult visitors will be few and far between, as people come to these wonderful locations to enjoy themselves. I hope that you have enjoyed yourself as well during this training module. Please take some time now to complete the questions in your workbook, and thank you for watching.